Unresolved Problem segment tonight. A controversial situation in Boulder, Colorado. Authorities at the Sacred Heart of Jesus School have expelled a preschooler and a kindergartner because their parents are lesbians.
I want to know what the fuck the lesbian parents are sending their kids to Catholic school in the first place for. Really, quite honestly, that is what really blows my mind.
As a Roman Catholic myself, that seems to be a bit harsh, and I don't know if Jesus would have made the same call. Kids have no power over who their parents are. Joining us now from West Palm Beach, Florida, Father Johnathan Morris, author of the book, The Promise. Look, I went to Catholic school all the way through, and, we're talking about a 4- and a 5-year-old here, and they can't go to Catholic school. Something doesn't sit right with me here. What do you say?
Well, first of all, Bill, thanks for inviting me to speak with you about such a lighthearted, easy, black and white, cut
This is a tough one, I know, but it happened, and we have to deal with it.
It is a tough one. You're right, and that's why I chose to come on.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. That's why he chose to come on, just like he chose to come on this other Fox News program.
If God created Adam and Eve and they had Cain and Abel, that should be with whom exactly did Cain and Abel create children with? In other words, how did Adam and Eve's kids have kids?
Whoa.
That just blow your mind.
I didn't get it. How did Adam and Eve have kids?
No, how did their kids have? If they had Cain and Abel,
right?
And no girls.
Okay. You know what? That's a good question. It's a great question. You know what? I think I'm going to have to call the Pope on this one.
Uh-oh. Are you doubting your faith now? You are.
We go to the Pope line.
Lifeline.
You know, this is an embarrassing moment for me. This is a tough moment. This is a tough question. It's a serious biblical question.
Absolutely.
I should be able to answer it like this.
Come on.
The fact is that, we don't know exactly how things happened. It's like, did Adam have a belly button? Mm-hmm. That's a whole other question.
Sure.
I don't know, quite honestly. But what we do know is that from individuals who decided that they did or did not want to follow the will of God came the rest of us. And Adam and Eve decided, you know what, we're not going to follow God. We want to do things our own way, and that's what we do so often in our lives. And I think the great lesson here is not whether or not Adam and Eve had belly buttons, and not whether exactly how it all happened, but rather, what can we learn? What can we learn? You guys are laughing because you're not answering the question.
You're so avoiding the question.
It's very personal because Annie Levy was born without a belly button.
All right, I gotta move on. Bill. I want to get to some news that actually involves
what? Facts? Evidence? Something other than a Mother Goose fairy tale set to a 2,000-year-old text? What exactly is it? I mean, you literally let him get away with it. He sat there and ran in circles because he knows that's a fucking great fucking question, and he's heard it before, and he must have thought about it before. How can you become a priest and not have thought about that? I mean, it's the first fucking, chapter of the Bible. Jesus. And they just let him get away with it. They're like, all right, well, you're just going to not answer it, and we're just going to move on. That's why they have him as a religion correspondent. Fox News has a religion correspondent that is fucking Catholic. I mean, how retarded can you get? What kind of thinking is that you know what, we're going to have one religion correspondent and he's just going to happen to think exactly what we think, but we're fair and balanced, and this Red Eye show is a late night comedy thing, and I understand that, but the fact is that this guy, Father John Morrison, he's on Fox all the time.
It's because it's not just about this situation in Denver. It's not just about that Sacred Heart school or church. It's not just about a question of homosexual marriage. It is a question, in my opinion, about a religious institution being able to preserve its identity on fundamental issues. That's what the real story is here.
By that logic and that standard, Mormons should be able to do their polygamy no problem. You should be able to marry as many wives as you want, and just let them be, because that's a very fundamental thing of Mormonism. You know what else is very fundamental? Some Muslims want to kill the infidels. Okay, so don't get in their way, don't stop, and don't bitch when they do it. They're just keeping it real. Their faith is a little different than yours, but hey, you gotta respect it, right? Even if it's, ostracizing some people, just like your faith is doing, huh, asshole?
All right, the Catholic Church believes that homosexual conduct is immoral. But the children don't participate in any of that. So you're punishing the children out in this facility, this Catholic facility. I don't want to see children punished, and I'll submit to you that Jesus wouldn't punish the children either.
Right. I wouldn't either. And you know what? Jesus would embrace these children.
That's right.
And the
He wouldn't
Catholic
kick them
Church
out of the
should
school,
embrace the. Well, let me explain this, Bill. At least as I see it. Let's look at what the Archdiocese is saying. This is not just the school. The Archbishop of Denver has said this priest has followed archdiocesan policy. This has put it to a whole new level. And bishops and archbishops and cardinals all over this country are going to have to deal with this now. Let me tell you what they're saying, what the Archbishop is saying. He's saying is this: Catholic education, its primary objective is what? It's teaching the faith. That's the primary objective. That's why Catholics get involved in education.
Father,
well, at least they admit it. It's not about learning any kind of facts. It's about ignoring evidence and just teaching these children the faith. And you know what? If these children have gay parents, homosexual parents, lesbian parents, you know what? Let's not try and save the children like they constantly claim they're trying to do. No, let's punish them. Let's punish those children because of the actions of the parent. He has no explanation for this shit. He's running in circles. Count how many times he doesn't answer the question, ever. What kind of fucking correspondent is he?
Again,
Number two.
Again.
Wait,
Let's
let me just finish real quickly. The second
number
principle.
one. Let's stop with number one.
Okay, we'll get to the second.
Nobody disputes the right of the Catholic school or church to admit whoever they want to admit. But again, the children are blameless, and the children are the ones that are suffering.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to submit to you that heterosexual couples, because we all are sinners, what if there's a divorced Catholic and the person remarries outside the church? You going to expel their kids? What if they're living in sin? What if they're living together and they're not married? You going to kick their kids out? What if they commit a flagrant act of adultery? All right, that is, you know, are you going to throw their kids out? You're going to have an off and empty school.
I know how awkward it is to have Billo be the voice of reason here, but that's exactly what's happening, because this guy, this Father Johnathan, is so retarded. He doesn't understand the points he's making can be taken further. He doesn't understand that by chasing away all of these people, your church is just becoming less and less a part of the population. By being so stringent upon, like, oh, this, and you have to be that, and I don't care if you're a pure child or you want to learn about Jesus, your parents did something wrong, and we don't agree with it in our religion, so therefore we're punishing you. The Catholic school kicked out the kids for the love life, sexual life, attraction of their parents. I mean, it's right on there with, like, you were cool being in our school because you looked white, but then we found out that one of your parents is actually black. And here in the Catholic Church, we're not cool with mulattoes, or Oreos, as we like to call them. You know what? So get the fuck out. Get your kid the fuck out of here. We don't like you because of the fucking parents, and we're going to punish the kid because of it. You see how fucked up that sounds? It sounds the same way to the rest of us when you do it because they're lesbian parents, fucktard.
You know, you can't be doing this kind of stuff.
Those are great questions. Those are great questions. But the second part of this is this, that according to the Archdiocese, Archbishop Chaput, that parents, when they decide to send their kids to Catholic schools, they become equal partners in teaching the Catholic faith, that objective of Catholic education. And as soon as those parents become not only sinners, all of us are sinners, but very public
Well, wait a minute, this lesbian couple hasn't done anything publicly. They haven't done anything publicly.
Let me finish
They're
real
not
quickly.
demonstrating.
Bill, real quickly.
Yeah.
As soon as they become very serious public dissenters, disagreeers with fundamental teachings of the Catholic Church, what they're saying is, we are no longer partners with you.
I got that. Look, it's theoretical, but as far as I know, the lesbian couple just is quiet. They don't do anything. They got branded this, and they got booted out. But I'll tell you what, it's very dangerous territory, because there are a lot of Catholic parents who have married outside the church, who are living together and aren't married, who are adulterous and everything else, and if you're going to chuck them all out, you know, it's going to be very tough on the children. I'm worried about the kids, not the parents, the kids.
Bill, yeah, well, what if this? What if someone who's an adulterer and goes around and say, I am having affairs with all the teachers and all the parents, and I'm doing it in a public way?
If it's a public scandal, I got it.
I knew Bill would be a douche at some point, because he's like, well, if they're openly gay, well, then I can understand you taking them out. But if they're secretly gay, then you got to leave the kids in there, because there's a huge difference. Because it's not the gayness that matters, it's whether I know about it or not. That's really the important thing here, right? I mean, The fucking idiocy of it is mind-numbing. I cannot handle people that are like, you know what? You can be as gay as you want. I just don't want to hear about it. Don't ask, don't tell. Don't ask, don't tell. Your kids were fine, but you had to go and tell me that you were homosexual. And now I hate your kids. What the fuck kind of reasoning is this?
Policy is saying is you should not be sending your kids to the school either,
No,
because in a very serious and public
I got
way,
it, but
you're
look,
saying
it's
I
the
don't
kids who
I
get
disagree
hurt.
with the church.
Okay. All right, Father. It's a very, very complicated issue. We appreciate
tough. It is
your
tough.
point of view very much.
Well, you heard the father himself. He's saying if you disagree with your church, you should be pulling your kids out too. So go for it. I mean, he's basically saying, like, I have a certain stance on something, and if you disagree with me, I want you to get the fuck lost. Just change the name of the church from Sacred Heart of Jesus to We Hate You Gays, and you'll be fine. Cocktopus out.